Hello, welcome to Jefferson's Emporium of Gentlemen's Accessories. I am, of course, Mr. Jefferson, and it is a pleasure to meet you. How can I help you this evening? Perfect. So a necktie and perhaps a watch. Wonderful. We are, of course, your premier destination for neckties of every shape, sort, and color, as well as cufflinks, tie bars, and all related accessories, including, of course, and naturally, watches. I find a shop like ours is very necessary because though the tailor might provide an exquisite suit and the cobbler an exceptional pair of shoes, no one is tending to the accessories, the accoutrements, which truly complete a gentleman's attire and elevate his dress from one level to the next. We offer a wider selection than those other shops might provide, as well as a tailored, bespoke service, and the intentional service that gentlemen such as yourself are accustomed to. With that being said, of course, I'm sure you're quite familiar with our design philosophy, so let's get right into it. Let's start with the necktie, okay? First, before I show you some of the various neckties as well as perhaps bow ties that we have available, a few quick questions to determine type, sort, style, and color. First, is this for a particular event or just for everyday wear, your typical going out clothes, if you will? Okay. So more the general day-to-day wear. Okay. Nothing too ostentatious in that case. No bright, glaring statement pieces, but still something that's going to be interesting to look at. Okay. Do you prefer light collared shirts, such as the one that I'm wearing now, whites, eggshells, light grays, even some of the pastel colors? Or do you prefer your blacks, your charcoals, deeper grays, and some of the deeper reds and blues? Okay. Good, okay. I'll be able to show you a great many ties in that case that will fit that general color scheme. And do you prefer black, charcoal, or navy suits? Okay, let's get to the tie selection process. I will show you a number of ties, kind of talk you through each of them, and explain some of the benefits, some of the drawbacks. It'll be a bespoke, tailored service, the kind that you're used to, okay? Wonderful. Before I begin, I'm terribly sorry I keep interrupting myself. I almost forgot to offer you a drink. We have a nice light brandy in the decanter that I think is perfect for an evening such as this, if you would permit me to pour you a glass. Wonderful. Allow me to fetch that. This is 15-year-old brandy that has been in the decanter for about a week and a half. Very nice, very aerated. Not a particularly strong taste to it, but a nice, subtle, smoky flavor. here you are. Wonderful. Now that we have you adequately refreshed, in proper bespoke fashion, we can begin looking at neckties. The first which I would like to show you is a very attractive silk tie that is a very, very nice length, width, and color. As you can see, this is about an average length for a necktie. It will make it very easy to wear and adjust in various knots. Your single Windsors, double Windsors, doesn't really matter with this tie. We'll be able to be adjusted as you see fit, but it's also a very nice width. Quite a narrow tie, but not insultingly narrow. You see some of the almost string neckties that are silly in their appearance. This is pleasantly narrow, not going to command the entirety of your silhouette, but it's also not going to be so small as to be hardly noticeable. It's also a beautiful deep purple, almost a burgundy, but not quite. Very pleasant, very pleasantly textured. Some of the surface thread gives way to the silk underneath. Very pleasant, and of course, just these small details. There's just a few of them scattered amongst the tie that provide just a spot of visual interest, help to draw people in without being overly loud or, heaven forbid, obnoxious. This, of course, being silk, is a rather expensive necktie, but it will last for years and years and years, and it provides just that little bit of luxury to one's appearance. Not necessarily a statement piece, but it would go extraordinarily well with a white shirt, and I would say probably a light gray suit would really suit, no pun intended, of course, a necktie such as this one. Moving on. This is a very, very nice, once again, silk tie that is a little bit wider, and I will be showing you ties of various widths throughout this process. A little bit wider, but just about the same length as the previous tie. Very pleasant charcoal gray, almost at the lighter end of the charcoal spectrum. So one might call this steel gray. I prefer to think of this as charcoal gray. And then shot through with these almost blood red lines and true steel gray stripes. Very easy to wear tie. This would probably go best with a very light gray shirt and either a black or gray suit jacket. Perfect for everyday wear, perfect for days at the office, board meetings, investor meetings. Very, very nice. And again, just that touch of luxury really elevates this tie to something that an individual such as yourself would be and should be very proud to wear. Again, this will be a little bit more expensive than perhaps your average necktie, but well worth the cost. Now, I've shown you a couple ties that are for the lighter shirts and the darker suits. Let me show you. Allow me to bring down my main store. This tie is a polyester, so it'll be a little bit more affordable than the previous two ties, but it's a little bit more colorful and a little bit more cheery than the other two ties. This would go quite well with the blue suit, I think. Eggshell shirt and blue suit jacket would really suit this. You can tell a little bit more of that pastel coloring and a lighter gray for the body of the tie really sets this apart and makes it into what could be considered a statement piece. Nicely textured. I caution with polyester ties, they're not quite as durable as your silk ties. Silk ties can be cleaned if they happen to become stained or spotted. Polyester ties are not quite as durable with certain cleaning agents and chemicals. So I would caution the use of, well, any kind of bleach, obviously, but even some of the spot treatments that are available now can be a little bit too harsh for polyester. Polyester also has a more limited lifespan than silk. Not necessarily to its detriment. It's obviously much more affordable than silk. But if you're wearing this on a day-to-day basis, week to week, you may notice increased wear and tear relative to what you would experience with a silk tie. That being said, still very good value. And this is just a fun tie to wear. Width-wise, similar to the purple tie. Relatively narrow. A little bit longer, actually. So it gives you even more options for creative knots. And it's not going to be as restrictive in terms of when you're tying your tie. This is an excellent and affordable option that I highly encourage that you consider. Here are some additional ties which I encourage you to consider. First, and perhaps most notably, this polyester blend tie is a real statement piece. You can't go wrong with the classic blue and white stripe, especially when you're wearing a navy suit. It complements everything and really stands out from the crowd. A navy blue suit with this, a pair of khakis, or similar kind of lighter dress pant, as well as an eggshell shirt, would be breathtaking, to be quite frank. Very attractive, and of course, affordable. It's a polyester blend. If I were to pick out one tie, just one, for you, it would undoubtedly be this one. A very attractive, very flexible tie. Not one that I would wear with a black suit jacket. Your light grays, of course, this would look phenomenal. And of course, obviously your navies, but perhaps not for your black suits. And the final tie, which I would like to show you, a very flexible, very standout silk tie, or pardon me, this is a polyester blend again. This particular tie looks excellent for navy suit jackets, charcoal, and black. The yellow striping that you see really stands out and can elevate pretty much any outfit to just that next level, just that bit of finesse, that bit of purpose that men of business and wealth such as yourself seek. With that being said, I believe it is time for you to make a decision, unless you feel that nothing that I've shown you is up to your standard. I do have a few neckties in reserve that I can show you, but I'm not certain that they would be quite what you're looking for. Perfect. Wonderful. So the blue and white stripe, this one, correct? Wonderful. I will set these to the side for you and pack up the rest. We don't want to get too terribly distracted now. Next, I believe that you mentioned that you would like to examine some wristwatches, correct? Perfect. Let me grab my selection and talk you through a couple of them, very similar to the neckties. Wonderful. The first which I would like to show you is, just as I described, very utilitarian, highly durable, and a very reliable piece. Stainless steel for the mount as well as the clasp. So a highly durable design, quartz movement inside, and a Roman numeral face. Nothing particularly fancy about this particular wristwatch, but it's certainly highly effective in both its presentation, which is classic, and its fulfillment of the duty of timekeeping. Very accurate, and a wristwatch that you could be wearing pretty much anywhere you're going to venture. So affordable, effective, utilitarian. I obviously won't have you make a decision without seeing all of the pieces that I have available. In fact, our next option is one that I think that you should definitely consider. This is a very unique but highly effective wristwatch design, blue mother of pearl face with a rather unorthodox face structure. You can see 11, 12, and 1, as well as 7, 6, and 5 at the top and bottom respectively. 2, 4, 10, and 8 at the corners, and 3 and 9 are blank. Rather unusual, but certainly a conversation starter. Leather strap, though it's not going to offer the same durability as a metal strap, it does complement the texture of the fabric more attractively, at least in my opinion, when compared to a metal strap. Now, my only caution with this piece would be it has a quite large face, and if your wrists are somewhat narrow, as mine are, it can look a tad bit oversized, a tad bit impractical. That being said, I urge you to consider this as a contender. It is a highly effective and attractive design, but it's also a standout piece that's really going to force yourself into the conversation. Perhaps when you're in a place where you're not as familiar with your environment or the people around you, this can really start something meaningful, okay? I'll set that one to the side for now, but please consider that one. Next, a variety of options available to you. This is a silver and steel body, clasp, and strap. So a little bit more ornate than perhaps just the plain steel. A little bit more standard of a face than the previous option. 12, 6, 9, and 3, with the rest just appearing as the standard dashes. A few more features available in this model. There's a day and date feature, and just a very effective design. Standard clasp. This is a citizen watch. Not going to be the top of the line fanciest option that we have available for you, but I still think it a worthy inclusion because it is so practical and just that added bit of refinement. You can see that the silver really takes it from just a purely utilitarian piece to a little bit more of a dress watch. Not something that you would be wearing perhaps to that 5-star luxury casino, but to dinner, to a business engagement. This would be a very practical watch that just offers that little bit of refinement to an outfit. Second to last is perhaps my favorite watch available. This is a stainless steel watch with a standard clasp, but where it truly becomes a work of art is, of course, the face. A large enough face to be present, but not one that's going to be bulky, and defining that balance, creating that distinguishment between bulky and inordinately slim is a very tricky art to master, but in this case it is mastered. Excellent size, and even, obviously you can see the face is truly just a work of art. Minimalist in its design. It only has the 12, 6, 9, and 3, but those are real diamonds on the face. This would be your 5-star casino watch. This would be your restaurant with the rich and powerful watch. This is the watch that starts conversations and really gets those oohs and ahs, if you will, from your audience. Refined, minimalist, and just that little bit of extraordinary. I highly recommend you consider this watch. Last and certainly not least, we have this magnificent piece. Gold and silver with diamonds on the face. This particular watch is precisely the opposite of minimalist design philosophy. It does have numerous extra features on the face, and it's just this is an ostentatious piece. The diamonds on the face really set it apart from other watches, really elevate it to being a statement piece. This is the most expensive option that I will show you today, but if this is to your liking, again, the proportions are phenomenal, and it goes so much more beyond mere utilitarian use. Really excels and exceeds expectations. I would recommend this if this is to your taste. Okay? With that being said, are any of the options that I've shown you to your liking? Have you found any wristwatch that you would like to add to your collection, your catalog? Wonderful. I believe it was this one then. Perfect. I will set that to the side and put the others back into storage, okay? Now, we have selected for you a couple of neckties and a wristwatch, all that you set out to acquire this evening, but I would like to show you just a few additional items that I believe can serve you well, okay? Thank you. First, collar stays are notorious, at least the plastic ones are, for bending under particular pressure, getting lost, slipping out, which is why I always recommend to my clientele metal collar stays. These stays are very affordable, and the best part is that you get a whole set with them. I'm wearing some right now, in fact, and I have found no drawbacks from switching from plastic to metal. How do you take these? Wonderful. Allow me to set these aside for you. Is there anything else that you're seeing on our shelves that you would like to take a look at? Thank you, truly, for stopping by. Customers like yourself are why we started this business enterprise, to truly elevate the attire and the confidence of our clientele. The clothes make the man. This has been an adage for generations. We want to be the people who supply the accessories that make the man. And with the help of clients like yourself, we can truly begin that journey. Again, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope the brandy was to your liking. I saw you taking a couple sips throughout our engagement, so hopefully you found it to be to your liking. And I, of course, will package all of these neckties and all of your procurements, and then meet you up at the front for the checkout process, okay? Wonderful. Thank you very much for stopping by, and as always, we hope to see you again very soon. Goodbye.